Hey guys, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. So today, I'm so excited. It's been about a year since my last dupes video. I've done 2 of these so far on my channel, and today is the 3rd. There's a large stretch of time in between each one just because they do take a long time to just, test out everything. Today, I'm super excited to share with you guys a bunch of more affordable dupes for some of my favorite high-end / luxury products. These are things I've been testing out for a long time. I've been finding these over the past couple months. I do want to say beforehand, I do love both products, and if you want to buy the more expensive version, go right ahead. I wanted to share with you guys a bunch of alternatives if you maybe don't want to splurge all the money on a high-end product. Some of these are color dupes, most of them are formula dupes, but besides that, I think there's a lot of really good comparable products to just help you curb that consumerism and just find some really good, less expensive alternatives. So whether or not you want to use this dupes video as a guide of like, if you already have this, you might not need to buy this new release, or if you just want to find a more inexpensive alternative, I hope you guys enjoy this one.
Oh hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Hey guys, I just wanted to hop on here and say that I am finally having my 15,000 subscribers giveaway. So about a month ago we hit 15K, which I was so pumped for. Finally got everything together, and here is all the stuff that's going to be in the giveaway. And there I have some of my favorite products that I really wanted you guys to be able to try, as well as some other just really fun things. I hauled ass at Sephora and I bought my favorite Becca First Light priming filter because I wanted to put it in the giveaway. So every single thing inside the giveaway is super special to me. So if you want to see like the explanation of why each thing is in the giveaway bundle, I'll flash it on screen right here. But it is super easy to enter. Literally, one of the first requirements is to be subscribed to the channel. So if you're already a subscriber, you have already entered the giveaway. So the link to the giveaway will be down below. I will pick one winner and send out the entire thing. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. Good luck. I'm so grateful for you guys. Here's to many more milestones of subscribers and many more giveaways ahead. Full details of this makeup look should already be on Instagram. The cardigan I'm wearing, once again, that cardigan that I wear in literally every video. Earrings are from Ana Luisa, and the necklace is from Fraser Sterling. And let's do this. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to share with you guys was an alternative to something I thought I was going to buy up until like last night. Anastasia Beverly Hills is releasing a new palette with Alyssa Edwards. First of all, I just want to say this collaboration, iconic. Mother of Backrolls herself. I think it's amazing that such a mainstream and such a huge brand as Anastasia Beverly Hills is reaching out there to collaborate with someone so incredibly iconic to the LGBT community and just the art of drag itself. I am a huge fan of Alyssa Edwards, and I think this is an amazing thing. The palette looks beautiful, and every instinct in my colorful heart said buy this. And you know what? I still might buy this one just to support the collaboration, just to have this palette in my collection, but I don't think I need it because I already bought the Riviera palette, and I think it's kind of weird that they're coming out with 2 palettes back to back that look so similar. Here's the Riviera palette, and I'll pop the Alyssa palette on screen. I think both are beautiful, and personally, I really wish that the Alyssa one had come out first. I know that it's coming out because of Pride season, but still, probably would have bought the Alyssa one over the Riviera palette if both of them had come out around the same time. But in terms of overlap, you have the peachy color, you have the brown, you have that kind of champagne shade, you have a white shade. There's just a lot of overlap between the 2 palettes that make me think both are beautiful, and honestly, I do think the Alyssa one's a little bit prettier, but I already own this one, and I really have tried to get myself out of that mentality of collecting Anastasia palettes. So if I'm not like fully on board with a palette, I'm not just gonna buy it just because it's Anastasia. For example, the Sultry palette, I thought that was ugly as shit, so I didn't buy it. And my patron saint and also new friend, can't believe that, Nisa Pisa did a video talking about this one, and I think she showed a side by side of the 2 palettes with the overlap shades, highlighted it, and it was just like very similar. Until that moment, I'd really been planning on purchasing it, but now I just don't think it makes sense for me to. So if you were looking at the Alyssa Edwards palette, but you were like just hesitating on it, if you already own the Riviera palette, I would just say take a look into this one, just look at all the colors that are very similar, and if you still want the Alyssa palette, go for it. But if not, you have a really good alternative already sitting with you.
I'm shocked by the behavior of the people of Hollywood.
One of my current favorite foundations that's barely been feeding my dewy ass soul has been the Tarte Found Sealer. What I'm wearing on my face right now, it's a really luminous kind of medium coverage foundation. Super dewy, but it lasts very nicely throughout the day, and I've just been really enjoying this one. It's probably the best thing I've tried from Tarte in a long time. I first tried this one on and blended it out on the skin. It really reminded me of something, but I just couldn't put my finger on it. You first blend it out, especially with a beauty blender, it just has this very damp look on the skin that doesn't really go away until you set it down with powder. I finally figured out that that it's very similar to the BH Cosmetics liquid foundation. It's again that kind of same like medium to full coverage, very dewy, very like wet looking foundation on the skin. Both of these are really nice and they last about the same amount of time. Obviously, a dewy foundation is not going to last quite as long as say like YSL All Hours. This is one of the most like full coverage and also very like satiny matte foundations. This will last like through the entire day. I love All Hours, but I do love me a good dewy foundation. Obviously, it's not going to last as long. It's here for a good time, not a long time. But if you're wanting to try a really good alternative to the Concealer, I believe this foundation is less than $10, which you really just can't beat. I mentioned this one in my most recent video, the luxury products video, and this is truly one of my favorite things that I own. It looks very boring, very vanilla, but if you say that, I will punch you. I love this little duo palette. It's very luxurious and the formula in here is insane. This is a really, really nice contour shade and this highlighter is absolutely bomb, but it's $60-something and that's dumb. Contour I found that was a dupe. I mentioned this one in the last video. This is from Innisfree. They have a bunch of single shades for their like custom palettes, and this is the shade My Contouring number 2. And it just looks exactly like the Charlotte Tilbury one. Both look very, very similar. Both look extremely similar on the face. In the last video I had one on one side, one on the other, and you couldn't really tell the difference. And both are kind of like a slightly warmer toned contour that still creates a very natural shadow on the face. I feel like some contours pull way too warm to a point where it just looks like bronzer. And then the closest dupe I could find for the highlighter was the Essence Pure Nude highlighter in the shade 10, Be My Highlight. Both of these are really beautiful, just natural, like pearlescent champagne shade. Both of these are very subtle when you first apply them, but they can build up to this really nice, intense shine. They never look too icy or never look too unnatural just because they're very finely milled rather than just like straight up glitter or straight up like a white base. So this palette is $60-something. The contour shade was $8, I believe, and then the highlighter is $5 depending on where you get it. Bold statement to make, but I think this is probably one of my favorite makeup products of all time, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy highlighter.
Country boy, I love you.
Every time I've ever been asked what I'm wearing on my cheekbones, pretty much always this one. I always like get asked on the street by strangers what highlighter I'm wearing because this is just, it just hits different. Color is a really flattering like light champagne gold shade on me. What I think is really special is the formula. I want them to come out with more shades of this. That'll be more inclusive. I want them to come out with a white, a rose gold, like a tan shade, completely fallout free. There's no like powdery kick up. It's not icy at all. It's just this pure like dewy shine. I've found many color dupes for this one, but nothing that really comes close to that formula until now. And it's from e.l.f. of all places. The e.l.f. metallic foil highlighters came out recently. I have the shade White Gold. I believe they do have a few more shades of these. They're not completely the same in terms of color, very close though, but in terms of formula, this is the closest thing I've ever found. Just like the Amrezy highlighter, it's completely like fallout proof. It's just this like wet metallic sheen. It doesn't create any like powdery kick up on the face. So until Anastasia comes out with more shades of this type of highlighter formula, I'll continue to threaten to sue them on Twitter, but I will be pushing for e.l.f. to come out with more shades of this one as well because it's in a really, really great formula, and for $6, I don't know how they make money. My number one favorite lip kit from Kylie Cosmetics has always been Kristen. This is one of her most popular colors. It's this beautiful, very unique strawberry pink shade. It's not too aggressively pink though. It's just like perfect in between. And I've tried a bunch of different shades claiming to be dupes of this one, but I haven't really found anything that completely close. But of all places, I found it at Colourpop.
Wow.
Are we surprised? My favorite lip colors that Colourpop has ever done are from the I Love Zada He collaboration. Whenever Karen and Colourpop come out with a new collaboration, I always buy the lip colors just because I think she has a really similar undertone to me, so all the colors she creates really, really suit me, and I just think she does a great job with the colors she makes. So I bought the shade Dual Set, which is what I'm wearing right now, and the first time I tried this one out, I was like, that looks like Kristen.
Bitch, no!
They're basically the exact same shade. I do think Kylie's formula is a little bit better. Both of them are matte liquid lipsticks. I think Colourpop's is a tiny bit more drying, whereas Kylie's is a bit more thin. Either way, beautiful shade, and if you don't want to spend $18 for the Kylie one, $6.50 will get you the Colourpop. While I'm at it, I'll mention the other shade from the I Love Zada He collaboration, which is Arriba. It's this beautiful cherry true red shade. I was on the hunt for a really long time trying to find the perfect red shade. Everything was just too, like, either too orange toned or too blue toned on me. So I tried the Fenty Beauty Uncensored Stunna Lip Paint. This is the perfect red shade ever. This liquid lipstick is $24, which is extremely expensive for a single liquid lipstick. Arriba is basically the exact same shade. Again, that just perfect red toned shade. It's not too orange, it's not too pink, and it's not too purple either. Once again, I do think the Fenty formula is a little bit better. This is my favorite liquid lipstick formula ever, but Colourpop is a very nice affordable dupe and also pretty comfortable as well. For this next one, bear with me, I'm going to stretch the definition of dupe a little bit. This palette is actually more expensive than the original one. However, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Master Palette by Mario is now gone. Rest in peace, but shall always be remembered in our hearts. To this day, even though I don't use this one as often as I use like Modern Renaissance or Soft Glam, I think this is still one of my favorite neutral palettes. It's a really solid like earthy tone palette. There's not a ton of mattes in here, but I do think the color scheme is just masterful. But I've also been using the Too Faced Natural Lust palette lately, and I actually think these are very similar color schemes. So here's the Natural Lust. Obviously you do get a lot more eyeshadows in here, so even though this is edging on 60 bucks, I think because you do get a lot more product in this one, I don't think it's necessarily a bad deal. I'd call this like a more amped up version of the Master Palette by Mario. These are pretty soft shades and they're mostly shimmers, and pretty much every shade within this palette is duped in here. You have the blue, you have the olive green, chocolatey brown, you have the really warm tone brown, you have the cool tone brown, and of course pretty much all the neutral shimmers in here as well. So if you missed out on this palette and you want to create some very similar looks, I think this is a really gorgeous neutral palette that has a lot of nice earth tones in here. But if you want just a good standalone palette for some nice natural looks, this is one of my favorites right now. And I don't normally like Too Faced eyeshadows, so very shocked that I've fallen in love with this one. So I did something stupid and I paid 40 bucks for a bottle of water with gold flakes in it.
What will you learn? What will you learn? That your actions have consequences!
Jin's Makeup regrettably talked me into buying the Farsali Rose Gold Skin Mist, and I don't regret it yet.
Why the fuck you lying?
It is truly stunning. I'm wearing it on my skin right now on this side of the face. Not really anything to prolong the wear of your makeup. It's literally just to melt in all the powders and make it look really nice and dewy and satiny smooth. But it's a hydrator, it's a primer, and a setting mist. I really only use this one very sparingly as like a top finishing layer of my makeup. Is it beautiful? Hell yes. I enjoy using this one and I'll use it until the last drop is gone. Is it worth the money? No. Probably my favorite thing that really does the exact same, just like nice, wet, yummy, dewy skin effect is the Innisfree Hydrating Mist with green tea. This is beautiful. It's like an aerosol mist, so it's very similar to the Morphe Prep and Set spray. It's called a refreshing facial mist with freshly double squeezed jeju green tea. So there's actually some really good ingredients in here rather than just the Morphe one, which is pretty much glycerin and aerosol. Both of these are incredibly fine mists, so it'll really just melt in everything without disrupting the makeup. And it's different from like a setting spray, like a Fix Plus type thing. I feel like these truly just like wake up the skin and make everything look super nice. So if you want a good dupe for this one, I would try this out. This is only $8 and this is $39. One of my recent favorite bronzers has been from Fenty Beauty. This is the Sunstalker bronzer in the shade Shady Biz. It's the second to lightest shade, I believe. The Private Island one looked a little bit too pale for me. The great color dupe that I have is from e.l.f. This is one of their primer infused bronzers in Perpetually Tan. And as you can see, they're almost the same in the pan. I would say the e.l.f. one does come off a little bit warmer on the cheeks. This also kind of reminds me of like a Hoola Light type thing, whereas this one's just a hint warmer, but honestly on the cheeks, once they're blended out, can't really tell the difference. I do think that the formulas are very similar. Both of these have a really like smooth feel to them. They're very buttery and creamy. The e.l.f. one is infused with primer ingredients, so it's really supposed to just diffuse super easily on the skin, and then the Fenty one is honestly one of the easiest to blend bronzers I've ever tried. But e.l.f. has really stepped it up with their packaging as well. This is a lot more sturdy than their previous stuff. It doesn't feel like it's gonna just break off like Wet n Wild.
Well, just as I thought, trash.
I don't know what exactly possessed me to buy a new highlighter palette. I need to do a highlighter declutter. I will film that if I do one. But it was probably the holographic packaging, let's be real. I've been testing out the Colourpop Dream Sequence palette lately. These are actually supposed to be Super Shock highlighters, so I love the Super Shocks. Thought it was a little bit weird that they're in an open air palette like this, just because those are kind of like a cream to powder texture, so they can dry out. But two of these shades in here that I think are really beautiful, I actually think are good dupes for some other high-end highlighters. So first of all, the pink shade here called Pinch Me is a really good dupe for pretty much anything in the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dream Glow Kit. Very similar, very like psychedelic shade. I think Unicorn and Magic would probably be the closest comparison to Pinch Me. These are super fun because they don't have a colorful base to them. They're not like white on the cheekbone. They just have this kind of strange duochrome shift, so it looks really unique. It's a very unique effect and you really can't find a lot of things on the market like this. Of course there are like colorful highlighters like the Anastasia Moonchild Glow Kit, but this is very different to me. And the shade here called Counting Sheep, which is one of the like starkest, most insanely blinding glittery highlighters I've ever seen. I love using this one as a topper. I don't really use it on its own. It's actually very similar to the Fenty Beauty How Many Carats Diamond Bomb Highlighter. Even though this is white and this is more on the champagne side, both are really bright and blinding on the face, and both of them I don't use on their own. I use as toppers. On this cheekbone, I have the Fenty one, and on this cheekbone, I have the Colourpop one. They're both layered on top of the same base highlighter. Either way, the glow kit is $40. This is 30 something, and this is 18. One of my favorite foundations of all time is the Becca Skin Love Weightless Blur. A lot of people really hate it, mostly people with oilier skin, whereas a lot of people with dry ass skin like me love it. Really love this one. It's not completely like dewy like the Tarte Babasu one. I feel like this is a nice natural skin finish. It just looks like skin.
Wow.
And it has a really nice blurring property to it as well, so it really just like smooths out texture that I have on my skin, which I appreciate because my skin is craggly. Something that I've also been really loving lately that I think is very comparable effect is the CYO Life Proof Foundation. Both of these are a good solid medium coverage. I think this one is actually a tiny bit almost better. Again, it has that nice blurring property. Not as much as this one, it's still very similar effect, and both of them last about the same throughout the day. Now for the no dirt section of the video. Obviously, the Huda Beauty Obsessions palettes are duped by the Colourpop 9-pan palettes. Not even a question. They're not trying to hide it. They're very obvious. They're not even trying to be subtle about it. They're very almost exact. They're pretty much almost exact dupes besides that one lime green shade in the middle. I do think the Colourpop ones are better. I don't have the purple one with me right now. It's with my mom. I just think the Colourpop formula is a little bit better. So obviously these are good dupes for those palettes, but I also think that if you don't want to spend $58 on the Melt Gemini palette. I was gonna say I can't blame you, but I can blame you. This is beautiful. I think that the Just My Luck palette can actually get some very similar looks to the green section in its palettes. So obviously you do not have the brown and like neutral shades in here, but you do have some really beautiful olive green shades. You have that lime green shade between the two palettes, and both are just stunning. I do think that if you purchase the Just My Luck palette and the Brown Sugar palette, I think that would be a pretty much solid dupe for the Melt Gemini palette. So even though this is my baby and I love him, I still think the Colourpop formula is just top notch, and either way, you get some good ass eyeshadows. Don't ever talk to me or my son again. One of my favorite pairs of lashes of all time are the House of Lashes Iconic Lashes. They can be worn with a very neutral, like no makeup look. They're just long, luscious, beautiful, fluffy lashes that look somehow kind of natural, but they can also really carry a full eye look as well. Like this is a dramatic ass look, and these could work with them. I actually don't have a pair of Iconic lashes right now to show you guys because I stopped buying them when I found these. I really love the AOA Studio lashes. These are the 3V Foam Ink lashes. They're $1.55 per pair, which is... These are the style Jackie. So note to self, I'm gonna buy a ton of these before this video goes up because they do sell out very quickly. Not saying that I have enough power to do that, but you never know.
That is not correct.
These are that same nice wispy texture. They flare out at the end, so they really elongate the eye shape. And again, they just work with everything. The lash band is a little bit tougher at first, but as you wear them like 2 or 3 times in, it really just get more flexible and just more comfortable to wear. They're my favorite lashes that they offer. So I gave into the temptation of my personal god, Samantha Robin doll, and I bought the Nude Sticks Nudies Bondi Bay. For the past couple months, this has been one of my favorite cream bronzers. I've been using it non-stop. It's too expensive for too little product. So this is about how much you get in here for almost $30, which is, yeah. I was really determined to find a good shade dupe for this one. Not saying that I'm not gonna repurchase this one because I definitely probably will. I just wanna be able to use something in between so I don't go through it quite as quickly. I decided to test out the e.l.f. Aqua Bronzer and Blush Compact. It is a cream blush and bronzer. The bronzer. Here are the shades right next to each other.
They're the same picture.
I do think that the Nude Sticks one lasts a lot longer on the cheeks. That's just because it's a more high quality formula, but the e.l.f. one, still very nice. I would say it lasts a good solid 8 hours before it starts to fade a tiny bit. Really solid bronzers. Practically since the release of Kylie Cosmetics, everyone has said that because she and Colourpop share a factory, they're the same thing, same products, different packaging. I disagree with the lipsticks. As I mentioned earlier, I think that the Ultra Matte lips from Colourpop are a little bit more drying and a little bit more like moussey than the Kylie ones, whereas Kylie's are very thin, kind of paint-like, but also very comfortable. However, I think that the formula of the lip liners is the exact same. Like, I cannot tell the difference. I physically, mentally, emotionally cannot tell the difference. So for that reason, unless Kylie comes out with a color that I think is really beautiful, I probably will not be buying any more of her lip liners because I can just get the same thing from Colourpop for like $5. So yeah, I'm not saying that they're the same thing. I'm just heavily implying it. One of the most goddamn expensive skincare products that I think is worth the splurge would be the Sunday Riley UFO Clarifying Oil. This really helps me clear up my skin because I have dry ass skin, so I love using a good facial oil, but it's hard to find ones that actually have like non-clogging ingredients, and this is actually infused with salicylic acid. However, this is stupidly expensive, and I don't think I would repurchase it because I found something that's a lot better, and it's $12. So this is from Fourth Ray Beauty, which is a subsidiary of Colourpop. It's the Detox After Hours Face Oil. It smells a lot better. It has a very strange charcoal scent to it, but it's less like pungent than the UFO oil, which smells like strange, and it lingers. Bomb skincare products, huge price difference, and I actually think the packaging of this one is a little bit nicer. I saved this one for last because it's the least exact dupe I could find. I really enjoyed the Huda Beauty nude palette last year. I thought it was a really solid, just like nice neutral, kind of cool toned pink color scheme. Shimmers in here are insanely beautiful. The glitters in here are intense and gorgeous. And when the Colourpop Sweet Talk palette came out, a lot of people were comparing the two. They're cousins, not even sisters. They're not sisters but not twins, they're just distantly related cousins, and in Alabama they would probably get married. This is kind of the warm toned cousin of the nude palette. This has a lot more like cool toned, dusty like lavender shades and pinks, whereas this is more on the peachy side. So if you do think that warm tones really suit you more than cools, but you really like the look of this palette, I think you would really enjoy this one. So not really dupes, just kind of like alternatives. So can we talk about how the packaging is like very much a similar vibe? Like you can kind of create a full face like that. Alright guys, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed the huge dupes video. It was months in the making, but I had a very fun time testing out a bunch of new things. And hopefully this helps you in some way, shape, or form. If you guys have any dupes or some products, please share them in the comments below. I would love for other people to be helped up by your knowledge as well. And also I'd like to try out what you guys enjoy. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed down below, and also follow me on Instagram to see makeup looks like this posted very much throughout Pride season. I'm planning on just busting out those rainbow looks. Busting them down. Tatiana. And if you made it to the very end of this video, you get the bonus meme. I love you. Bye.
Today's secret ingredient is yeah!